So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 emails. 17 emails, literally 8 weeks. And no Governor Landry tomorrow. And again, I believe he's having a tax meeting. I don't think he's avoiding the interview. I just don't think it's any kind of priority. And I think those that he goes on that are just friendly shows, like you're going on with like your brother or friend, and it's all softball questions. It's a big butt kissing. Now, I said I will not be kissing the governor's rear end, but I will not be out to get him either. Legitimate, fair, honest, journalistic questions. Just a little frustrating. So I thought I'd share that with you, especially since I was hyped last week, Thursday and Friday. Hey, the governor's coming on Tuesday, October 8th. Fired up about it. Want to visit with Jeff Landry, the governor of the state of Louisiana. So, yeah, kind of bummed this morning when I got an email saying it, that we've got to push it back or whatever. And then do you still want to do it? It's like, yeah, I've only been trying. It's 17 emails and 2 straight months? Yes. So, yeah, a little frustrated by that. But, we keep grinding and move on. I don't go in some negative mode or get into a hole or, hey, I'm not doing the program today. Just frustrated. See you tomorrow. Just keep going. Keep going. Boy, a protest in front of Tulane earlier today. It still might be trafficy and problems there. Student protests. It's a year later, October 7th, 2023, when Hamas attacked Israel. St. Charles Avenue blocked off at State. St. Charles Avenue blocked off on the other end by Broadway. Protesters literally in the street. Tulane students blocking St. Charles Avenue. Now, I've said this often. I'd love to do my show. Just set a desk up, the middle lane of I-10, like at the Bonneville high-rise, the Bonneville Bridge over Bonneville, right in the middle of I-10. 5, 6 lanes across, right in the middle lane. I'd have traffic blocked up in Orleans Parish. I'd get arrested. I'd be on 4, 6, 8, and 26, Times-Picayune, front page. The program would grow because of that stunt. But there's one big problem. It would be absurdly selfish. I would be inconveniencing a lot of people. And most importantly, I would be breaking the law. The First Amendment is precious. The right to free speech, the right to assemble and protest. That's what makes America great. And what really makes it great is, unlike, say, Iran or North Korea or China with controlled media, state-run media. And that's why I always get on folks that are like, the media, mainstream media sucks, all that nonsense. It's of vital importance. It's the First Amendment. You may not like the source. That's why there are many sources. You can get a lot of different viewpoints and try to come up with a realistic consensus, or you can be a, extreme leftist or extreme right winger and go find what appeases you and placates you, if it's factual based or not. But media and free press is vital in America. The right to protest is vital in America. You just can't break the law doing it. I would back a Nazi group, David Dork. Everything I think of them, I despise. I am diametrically opposed, in total disagreement. I would back their right to protest. The problem is some folks protest. They think their message is so right, so correct, so important, so righteous that breaking the law is okay. We're going to block this street, and that's how our message gets out. I think the NOPD, the state police, with almost as much of a sense of urgency as last week where that guy at the Willows apartment shot at federal agents and then barricaded himself in one of the apartments at the Willows, I-10 off of Morrison. I would have sent down 20 units. I would have sent down the paddy wagon, the school bus with the cage windows, like you're transporting prisoners from Angola, from central lockup on Tulane and Broad to like Angola. I would have brought that bus down and just started picking up protesters, throwing them in the bus and arresting them. All these Tulane students wreck their resume. Have you ever been arrested before? Yeah, for protesting. Somebody that's hiring you might be, oh, that's great. Someone hiring you might go, well, you're breaking the law. I don't need that type of person here. Now, I wasn't on St. Charles Avenue by Tulane today, but boy, could you imagine if you were and you were trying to get somewhere quickly? What if your grandmother, grandfather, child, you, anyone had to get to the hospital and you got caught in that crap? Some illegal protest blocking the street. No, like I said, it's beyond selfish. It's breaking the law. And the First Amendment is very precious. It needs to be protected. The right to protest needs to be protected. Like I said, I would back up a David Dork and his Nazis to protest, not their message, but to legally protest. Blocking the street, you can't do it. All of those Tulane students should have been arrested immediately. Immediately. And sent down to Tulane and Broad, fingerprinted, photographed, put in a cell, a holding cell. Just absurd. Protest in front of Tulane, St. Charles Avenue, State Street at St. Charles blocked, Broadway at St. Charles blocked. Just can't have that. Can't have that. Holy smokes, Hurricane Milton, now a Category 5. From a tropical storm, 24 hours ago, this thing was a tropical storm. 24 hours ago. By 11 a.m. this morning, it was a Category 5. In like 15 hours, went from tropical storm to Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5. Maximum winds, 175 miles an hour. It's expected to slow down somewhat, be a Cat 3 or Cat 4 when it hits landfall near Tampa in less than 48 hours, sometime after lunch on Wednesday afternoon. Tampa St. Pete expecting a 12-foot storm surge, 110-mile-an-hour winds Monday afternoon. The Tampa Bay Bucks are playing the Saints this Sunday in the Dome. They're coming tomorrow. They're going to hold their week of practice somewhere in New Orleans. They're checking into hotels. They're staying in New Orleans essentially the entire week. Speaking of Saints, Brett Martell will join us in the 5 o'clock Power Hour. Another Martell Monday. Saints at Chiefs Monday Night Football. We'll discuss that in the 5 o'clock Power Hour, a little after 5:30 like we do with Brett. Wow, the city of New Orleans, the city council, the New Orleans Redevelopment District, spending $2 million to find out ways to bring retail, to bring a grocery store specifically to the lower Ninth Ward. Create an economy that works in all of New Orleans, and the lower Ninth Ward would take off all by itself, and there'd be a grocery store just out of necessity. You think folks are avoiding the Ninth Ward because a grocery store is needed or not needed? I mean, retail goes where it's needed. They're not avoiding the Ninth Ward because a grocery store isn't needed. They're avoiding the Ninth Ward because, I should say, because a grocery store isn't needed. There isn't enough population to support the grocery store. In America, it's capitalism. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday. Don't move. We're coming right back.
The Port of to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frame, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
That's a good way to come back on a Monday. A little George Porter. I often see him in my neighborhood when I'm walking Tulane. I've told you this before. I walk by, I'm like, hey, man. He goes, what's up? I go, not much. And how about everything good with you? Yeah. And then he goes inside, and I'm just alone on the street. At least I think I am. There could be someone like on their porch going, is Corey talking to his dog again? But out loud, I go, Tulane. How often do you get to walk by a fellow person? No, I shouldn't say a fellow person. You're a dog. You get to walk by a human being, and they are one of the greatest in the world. 8 billion people on this planet, one of the greatest at what they do. And George Porter playing the bass guitar, he's one of the greatest that's ever played that instrument. Done so much studio work with big-time acts like the Rolling Stones, of course, the Meters, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No, a living icon, a legend. We're supposed to have the governor on tomorrow. Got an email from his assistant that he can't come on. He has a tax meeting tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, I'm bummed out about it. I'm hyping it, but I posted the email on Twitter so folks don't think I'm just talking, you know what, BS, nonsense. But it is frustrating. 17 emails, 8 or 9 weeks trying to get the governor lined up since early August. We're in October. It just gets a little old. That's all. Frustrating. But I'm not stopping. I will not stop till I get the governor on the program. I will not stop until I get the governor on the program. Yeah, I mentioned earlier a protest. It's a year later, October 7th, 2023, the Hamas attack in Israel. The protest in front of Tulane today, Tulane students, that's fine. Protest all day long. Just make sure it's legal. Just make sure it's legal. You know that space in front of Tulane where it says Tulane University on St. Charles Avenue? That would be a good spot, I'm guessing. I don't know. You'd have to ask Tulane officials where they would like to have it. Don't damage the azalea bushes. Don't damage gardens. And definitely don't go sit down on St. Charles Avenue. That's just disrespectful. I'm in the First Amendment business. I do talk radio. Been doing it 30 years. Have the freedom to do it. It's a great thing about America. Get to do it in my hometown. It's a beautiful thing. But when protesters decide, out on this lawn protesting, putting out our message, our right to protest, it's not enough. We have to go out and block St. Charles Avenue. That way we'll get the attention that's needed for our righteous, important message. Just think if everybody did that. David Dork and the Nazis, communists, people you hate and despise. The beautiful thing about America, they legally have the right to protest too. We don't have to agree with the message. Oftentimes we don't agree with the message. I'll never forget Black Lives Matter protesting in in Baton Rouge. A group of Black Lives Matter folks go to the Capitol. It's Black Lives Matters, folks. It's black, it's white, it's policemen. They're all together. Like, that's the goal. That's the objective of Black Lives Matter. All together, a gumbo, everyone equal. White people are marching with them. Police are marching with these folks. They get to the Capitol. These out-of-town agitators, not real Black Lives Matter protesters, the folks that give Black Lives Matter a bad name, just like January 6th, folks give MAGA folks, Trump supporters, a bad name when they break the law and invade the Capitol illegally. So the first group of, quote, Black Lives Matter protesters, they're like, great, kumbaya, we're holding hands, we made it to the Capitol. These outside agitators like, what? No, this isn't enough. Like, got to cause some crap. Let's go and protest down at the police station and start throwing water bottles at the cops and rocks and the like. It's just, you're breaking the law now. Let's block the interstate. Let's block the roads. You're breaking the law. The first group had permits to march down the street, police blocking roads legally, on and on and on. I mean, I was going down to pick up a buddy for lunch in the CBD the other day, and they had some second line going. They had police blocking the street. It was all permitted. It was all legal. I was like, damn, I can't get through it. I'm inconvenienced for a little while, but it's all legal. Now, if it were just folks it's like when I drive in the quarter and you have these like haunted tour guides and they just block the street. I'm like, move. Get out of the way. You can't just have a bunch of people standing out on the street while you tell some BS story about a building or a real story about a building. First Amendment is special. It's precious. We have the right to protest, but these protesters at Tulane were like, this isn't enough. Just protesting legally on the front yard, on the front lawn at Tulane. Let's take it out to St. Charles Avenue and sit down and block traffic. Inconvenience, folks. That way our righteous message is heard. That's the thinking. Think if everybody did that. David Dork and his Nazi buddies think their message is righteous and must be heard. I open up the show. I'd love to block the interstate and have this desk and microphone, the camera, everything. The corporal on the other side of the glass, right on the other side, incoming traffic coming right at him and having to veer out of the way. Blocking traffic on I-10 for miles, getting arrested. My show would take off. The ratings would go up, everything. It'd be a big boon for the show. Yeah, and I'm breaking the law, and I'm being selfish, and I'm inconveniencing other folks. That's not America. That's not the First Amendment. That's criminal behavior. What the city of New Orleans should have done, and I hope some of these protesters, at least some of them, got arrested. It doesn't matter how righteous their message is. It doesn't matter if you fully agree with their message. You can't block streets. You can't throw rocks and water bottles at policemen. You can't do that stuff. And today in front of Tulane, that's exactly what happened. These protesters walked out on St. Charles Avenue and sat down in the street and blocked traffic because they think their message is so righteous. It's insane. The message becomes irrelevant. It could be a message you're in 110% agreement of. A big bus should have come, or several buses, and every single one of those protesters that were choosing to sit in the street get arrested and go to Tulane and Broad and get fingerprinted, photographed, and put in a holding cell till they can get bailed out or a judge decides to let them out. Okay, they were arrested. It's on their record. It's 12 hours later. Let's let them loose and free up the jail space. We have too many violent criminals we need to put in here. Whatever. But absurd. And no, I was not on St. Charles Avenue. I was not inconvenienced. It wasn't causing me any problem. It's just against the law. And it sort of wrecks the First Amendment, where folks think their message is so important that they can break the law. The city of New Orleans, the city council, $2 million. I mean, it's mind-blowing. $2 million. What you could do with that. The New Orleans Redevelopment District, they're spending $2 million to find out ways to bring a grocery store to the lower Ninth Ward. I'll do it for free. Fix the economy in New Orleans. Create jobs like Austin, Charlotte, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, of course. I mean, you can almost name any American city. It's easier to name the ones that aren't working. I don't know, like Flint, Michigan. Detroit even has some function going. We have dysfunction going in New Orleans. We have a crippled economy going on 40 plus years. We have a city that's run strictly by Democrats and mostly loony left Democrats, like hyper woke Democrats. Not a single Republican voice in the city. Not someone who's got a difference of opinion, a different ideology. Not one. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Louisiana suffers because it's so extreme right-wing run. But, I mean, my God, at least Louisiana elected a Democrat governor a couple of terms. Now, I like John Bel Edwards. I think he's honest. I don't know if John Bel Edwards moved the needle. Definitely not like North Carolina's moved the needle. They went from a state with not a city in it 50 years ago to not only Charlotte, about twice the metro New Orleans size, Raleigh-Durham, little country town, now has a larger metro than New Orleans. South Carolina's got their you-know-what together. They're maximizing what they have. But here, we're the opposite. Minimizing what we have, total dysfunction, and now spending $2 million of precious New Orleans money to figure out how a grocery store could go in the Ninth Ward. What study is going to come up with, how a grocery store would go in the Ninth Ward, how a retailer could put a grocery in the Ninth Ward, in the lower Ninth? Get the economy going, get more money, get a little vibrancy going in the lower Ninth Ward, and you'd have that. The northern part of the lower Ninth, like north of Claiborne, should have never been redeveloped. Go drive down there. It's like 10% occupied. It's sinful what they did. Having people go back, and you have lots that have 8 feet of weeds in there. You're the only house on the block. The next house is 2 blocks over. It's like desolate. It's isolated. It's crazy. No, it's insane spending $2 million to figure out how a grocery would go in the lower Ninth Ward. Just totally insane. You could spend $20 million, $200 million. A retailer has to want to go in the Ninth Ward because it's viable. It's been studied, and there's not enough money. People, whatever the reasons are, it's not racist, because there are too many neighborhoods in America, all kind of different cities that are predominantly black, even lower income black or Latino or white or whatever. And there's, capitalism going on in those areas. It might be limited, but there's capitalism. Forget about the lower Ninth Ward. Look at New Orleans East. Look at New Orleans East. A lot more money there than the lower Ninth Ward. Hard to find a grocery out there. Hard to find retail out there. Dry cleaner, restaurants, whatever. The demographic, the income, it's about 10 grand lower for family of 4 in New Orleans East than the rest of New Orleans. Fix the economy in New Orleans, and that rising tide lifts all ships. It's pretty simple. Don't throw $2 million at a study.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Speaking of back at you, Young's Dry Cleaning's been with us in this metro New Orleans area since 1940, before the United States got into World War II. If you're tired of your dry cleaner and simply want to experience the best, it's Young Dry Cleaning. Old school walk-up locations, free pickup, endless lot. You drop off your in a Young's, safe and secure. 2 short days later, it all back up perfectly dry clean. That little silk bag's on a hanger waiting to be refilled again. Now, you may not know it, but Young's Express, their manless locker locations, there might be one like right under your nose where you live or work and you didn't even realize it. Like out at Michoud, 42 acres under one roof facility. There are 3 or 4 Young's Express out there. The Foot of Vets, Heritage Plaza, there's one in there. The CBD Warehouse District, there might be a couple of dozen in downtown New Orleans / Warehouse District. To find out more, youngsdryclean.com or call them. Give them your zip code. Tell them where you live. Hey, I'm looking for a Young's Express location. Or get on their free pickup and delivery. youngsdrycleaning.com or call 288-8381. 288-8381. It's Young's Dry Cleaning. youngsdrycleaning.com. Hurricane Milton, my God, Florida. And anyone who's like better than them than us, that's just selfish and ridiculous. But the only thing that some validity to that is Florida is a rich state. Florida has really good representation in DC. Florida gets things done. They have a vibrant economy. They're a booming state. People are moving there. So I don't wish this on anyone. I want this thing like in like a part of Texas where there's no population, Mexico where there's no population, or fizzle out in the Gulf, or go out in the Atlantic and fizzle out. There's one hurricane Wednesday. It might hit like London and Paris. A hurricane, London and Paris, just unheard of. I mean, my brother's in London. I text him like, are you guys really getting a hurricane on Wednesday? But this Hurricane Milton was a tropical storm yesterday afternoon. Morning, it was a Cat 5. It went from tropical storm to Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maximum winds 175 miles an hour. Now, thank God, as it approaches the Florida coast, kind of beeline and right into Tampa, St. Pete, it's going to get 10-foot storm surge, 12-foot storm surge. But it will down, and this is a lot, to a Cat 3, winds of 110 miles an hour. It's supposed to just go right across the state into the Atlantic, and who knows where it goes from there. Hopefully nowhere near Georgia, East Tennessee, South Carolina, or North Carolina, my God. But that Tampa area has already suffered a lot of hurricane damage. The last thing Florida needs is this type of storm, but it's exactly what Florida's getting. It's supposed to hit around lunchtime, maybe 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. But will die down to a Category 3, winds of still 110 miles an hour and a 12-foot storm surge. No fun. Thank God it's not coming here, but I don't wish it on Florida, especially Tampa or anywhere. It's just sad. It really is. And it's insane. This is one of the quickest forming storms in history. It's like Hurricane Milton, and in recorded history, there's like 2 or 3 other tops that have gone from like tropical storm to Category 5 in like 15 hours. Just insane. It's crazy. And it's not normal. And anyone who doubts like climate change or can man influence the planet or not, the planet's going to be here no matter what we do. It's like, the extinction of the dinosaurs. Planet's still here. Earth's going to be here no matter what man does. And does it hurt the planet? Sure. But it hurts us. It hurts us. And anyone in Louisiana, I often say this, if you're bleeding heart liberal, you still tend to be pro-drilling. Around the country, we don't want any drilling, don't want deep water drilling, all this kind of stuff. Here we know it works as long as it's regulated properly. Not over-regulated where you shut it down, but not under-regulated where you let the inmates from the asylum. You get the Mankato well, you get the BP disaster. And the opposite is true. Conservatives around the country, they don't believe man can influence the planet. Conservatives down here see chunks of land floating out in the Gulf. I grew up, hunting and fishing with my grandfather, and that property's not here anymore. So, boots on the ground, left-wing folks, even extreme, are pro-drilling. Right-wing folks think man can influence the planet, because we see it firsthand in Louisiana with levees being built where the Mississippi River doesn't do what it's naturally going to do, oil and gas canals where saltwater intrusion comes inland and wipes out marsh and wetlands and cypress forests and the like. We've seen it. We've lived it. It's real. So, man can definitely influence the planet, and we need to be more proactive about it. This is a subtopic, but it's like plastics and styrofoam. In Europe, it's a lot of biodegradable. They do the same thing. Here, Americans are selfish. We live in a microwave society. We want heat up fast. We want what we want, and we want it now. And we don't want to hear about an ocean, big ocean zone full of plastics out in the Pacific, the size of like the state of Delaware. It's just ridiculous. And there's not a change. People don't want to drink out of a wood, like a degradable paper straw. They're plastic straw. They want their plastic containers. We want plastic. It's convenient. It's easy. We want styrofoam. No, we need to change all that thinking. And we need to change the thinking on, yes, man can influence the planet. And you can't just have the attitude like, it's going to do what it's going to do no matter what. No, it's not. If we didn't cut canals in the marsh and didn't levee up the Mississippi River, the state of Louisiana would be growing like the Atchafalaya Basin is growing. Land expanding south of Lafayette because there's no levees down there, not a population to protect. There isn't massive oil and gas canals cut through the Atchafalaya swamp. Now, these are all pretty cause and effect, simple, vanilla, A plus B equals C. It's not brain surgery. It's kind of kindergartenish. We just choose to look the other way. Hurricane Milton going from a tropical storm to Category 5 in 15 hours, insane. And yeah, keep the people in Tampa, Pete, in your thoughts and prayers because they're going to get crushed on Wednesday around 1 o'clock. It's beyond unfortunate. It's beyond unfortunate. Absolutely crazy that the city council is spending $2 million on a study. How do we bring to the Ninth Ward? Answer: is the economy. Get an economy going in New Orleans and it'll automatically happen. You want to know the biggest catch-22? It's insane in New Orleans. New Orleans, gentrification's a bad thing. I don't know about you, but I've watched for 40 years like Claiborne and St. Claude and Broad Street go into the toilet. Like vibrant streets with lots of retail going the opposite way. How do you fix that? You bring money into those areas. So people want to call it gentrification. You want to know what gentrification's bad? Like in San Francisco, where an apartment in San Fran was $3,500. Then these college graduates, work in Silicon Valley, coming out of college at 22 years old, make $250,000 a year. And then four of their, one guy and his three buddies, they all make $250,000 a year. They're going to go move into some apartment, and it goes from $3,500 a month rent to $10,000, and these kids don't mind spending that. That's bad gentrification, where it's an expensive area to live, $3,500 for a little apartment, and then it goes up to $10,000. But in a city like New Orleans that's had a 40-year economic decline, you want gentrification. You want the Broad Street Theater. You want St. Claude Street getting revitalized with restaurants where everyone from the metro area wants to go down there and dine at those restaurants. Is it going to force some people out of the neighborhood? I'm sure it is. Housing values go up in a poor economic city, a poor city in general. You want housing values to go up. No, the amazing catch-22, and you'll hear government officials say this, we want to preserve the neighborhood and the people that live there, yet we want it to be economically stronger. It's the biggest catch-22 in the world. I want to live at One River Place. I can't afford One River Place. It's illogical. It's crazy. Want to preserve the poor neighborhood. Don't want to lose the, quote, culture. I don't know what culture there is on St. Claude the last 30 years, besides their shop stores selling cold food that's supposed to be hot and crime and no economic opportunity and blight. I don't know what you're trying to preserve there, but gentrification in those areas is only a good thing. Oh, boy.
09 Dave Miet, INSAgency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSAgency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 31 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com. Your cool spot.
For bread, Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes. Local eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country. Right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
My sit-to mother used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store.
With personal service, Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economy of Louisiana, and our country forward. For more than 120 continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. River, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here. Delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river.
Experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. There have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeVar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Wow. It's a George Porter extravaganza, some meters. This is like about close to 60 years old, 55 plus, late 60s. Joe, go check out that Looky Pie Pie album from the Meters. Really great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, Rouse's Markets has everything you need. Local stuff, regional stuff, national stuff, even international stuff. Over 65 Rouses from Lake Charles through New Orleans, all the way to southern Alabama. And you've seen the television commercial if you watch this program on TV. They're number one everywhere. They're number one everywhere. They do these polls and Rouse's wins. And it's easy to understand why. They're clean, they're convenient, lots of registers open, easy in and out. Not of Rouse's Markets. They've got everything you need. Best quality, best price, best selection. It truly does taste like home because it is. It's your Rouse's Markets. Heading home from work today, you might pass like 2 or 3 Rouse's on the way home. I've said this before. I live by the Sewage and Water Board. I live right by the parish line. Claiborne's where it turns into Jefferson Highway. The Carrollton section, Riverbend area, Pigeon Town area of New Orleans, that neighborhood, that area. There are 4 Rouse's within 10 minutes of my front door. I could go Carrollton to Bienville in Mid-City. I can go uptown, Napoleon at Chapatoulas, right on the river. I can go to Airline at Causeway, at Causeway. And then there's that Rouse's on Ferret. That's the closest one, about 5 minutes from my house. On Ferret at Valence, in between Jefferson and Napoleon. Yes, there's a Rouse's there. I call it the boutique store. It's a little small store, bigger than the French Quarter store on Royal and Orleans. That's probably the smallest Rouse's of all the Rouse's. And store, they've got stuff from like the toes of your feet to above your head. It's like a New York grocery store. A lot of stuff crammed into that little tiny Rouse's on Orleans at Royal Street in the French Quarter. They're in the CBD in that old Sewell Cadillac building. Just genius, man. You got to love Rouse's Markets, and they're opening more and more all the time. Southern Mississippi's getting a couple of new Rouse's. Always expanding, always growing, always convenient. They've got that one in Home with the drive-through where you can get the fried chicken. Excellent fried chicken at Rouse's. Rouse's Markets, there's one near you. Yeah, kind of bummed. Open up the show with this. Tomorrow is supposed to have Governor Jeff Landry. Been working this for 2 months. Got an email today. The governor has to go into some tax meeting tomorrow afternoon. Can't join you on the show. Got to reschedule. 17 emails, 8-9 weeks. You know, it kind of is a bummer. And then I get the governor for tomorrow and it's canceled. And he's going on a couple of other local radio shows this week. It's like, talk about watering it down, you know? Why not? Let me get the governor, and I'm the only show that gets the governor that week, like some of these other programs. But boy, some of these programs, it's just a big butt kissing, you know? A lot of talk radio clearly is right-wing oriented. Maybe conservatives didn't have a voice in ABC, NBC, CBS, sort of the mainstream media, more liberal leaning. Talked about this last week. The liberals gravitate towards creative stuff like television, radio, arts, music. It's not exclusive liberal, but they gravitate towards that. Like conservatives gravitate towards, entrepreneurism, banking, finance, farming, meatpacking. It's not exclusive conservative, but mostly just how it is. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. And it's pretty fact based off of the percentages. So, no, it's a natural thing where liberals gravitate. Now conservatives are like, boy, there's a void. We have to fill that news void. Fox has filled it. Talk radio is 19 out of the 20 top shows in America. Syndicated programs, 19 out of 20 are conservative leaning. So, no, I think the governor is more apt to go on these, quote, friendly shows, like the mayor goes on WBOK radio here in town because she knows it's going to be a softball pitch. Like the sheriff, they're going to go on the, quote, black radio station, and they're going to be appeased and placated, It's going to be easy question after easy question, nothing tough, nothing controversial, never taking the political person to task. And it works both ways. The governor going on these conservative outlets, New Orleans black politicians going on WBOK that have an agenda, that want to be appeased and placated on a friendly station. Now, I'm not out to get the governor. I'm not out to attack Jeff Land. His rear end either. It's going to be a legitimate interview, journalistic-based interview. You know, I've got pride and honor, and I have a reputation, and probably one of the biggest strengths I have are doing one-on-one interviews, asking the questions you want to know, not avoiding them, not scared to ask the tough question, the question that might, isn't comfortable with the guest, but it's the necessary question that needs to be asked, and it's not going at them, trying to get them. It's just legitimate journalistic-based questions. No, that the governor will get that. I'll be totally fair with the governor. I'm not out to get him, and I'm not out to, insert head up governor's rear end either, like these conservative hosts do. It's a joke. It's a joke. I remember. Now, and this is sports, so it almost doesn't matter. It's a luxury item. Drew Brees used to go on like once a week down the dial. It was like, Drew, what's your favorite color? Green or orange. It was a joke. You never learned anything. It was just pathetic. No one wants that. We're all adults. Real questions. We want the questions asked that you would ask. The answers that you want to know, what you want to hear about. It's simple. I don't understand why people sell out. Maybe they're unaware of it. Maybe they're oblivious to it. I don't know. I'll ask this guy. Are they sellouts? Oh, boy, still happen. Yep. I was going to ask Boo Boy. He's normally barking about this time. Way. Blue Boy's just away. He's like, not getting up for this. Corey Johnson with you. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way. 93.9 FM New Orleans, 107.9 FM New Orleans. Cox Channel 4, Spectrum Channel 333 to 530. Hey, we're on YouTube. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on YouTube. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yep, 5 o'clock power hour is next, New Orleans. Don't go anywhere.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 4-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, Spank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Total maintenance key. Total maintenance. Total maintenance key. Total maintenance. Total maintenance key.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river. is in a century-old warehouse, and uptown on Ferret Balance is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans' grocery store. Rouse's Markets.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, a vision of a locally family-owned store serving residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color in any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Ooh, Lord, that's what I said. Ooh, Lord, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
My God, what a gorgeous day, huh? Yeah, it stinks about this Hurricane Milton, Tampa. But boy, from the panhandle of Florida, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, absolutely gorgeous weather. Like gorgeous weather for like the next week. Crazy. In a great way. Spring has sprung. Spring's after winter and fall. I just mean the non-summer season, huh? In New Orleans, we got 2 seasons. 6 months of summer, heat, humidity, oppressive heat and humidity. And then 6 months of some of the best weather anywhere. And right now, it's the beginning of some of the best weather anywhere. And it's only going to get better through this weekend. Next week, like wake up to the 60s. And then high temperatures in the mid to high 70s. Might not hit 80. The 90s are gone. Won't see the 90s till like April. Thank you. But boy, get outside, enjoy this. Maybe drop some coals to do some grilling for Monday Night Football. You got the outdoor TV, or you can wheel one outside. Do it. It's that nice outside. And like I said, the next week is fantastic. It's hard to find rain. It's hard to find rain. No, and you almost feel selfish because of what's going to happen to Tampa. But if you go to like weather.com, the next like 10 days, it is bright sunshine every day. It is 60s to start the day. And some days it won't even get into the 80s. And if it does, it's low 80s. It's just really, really, really nice outside. Humidity's at like 50%. not 70 or 80%. Some glorious weather. One of the main reasons we live down here. Seriously, we often don't think about that unless someone's like, man, you want to move to North Dakota? You want to move to Canada? You want to? No, because it's too damn cold up there. It's what you're used to. They're used to the cold. We're used to the heat. But, I love New Orleans because of the people that are so friendly and kind. How you doing, baby? What's up, sugar? Women telling me that. And they're not being, sexist or hitting on me or whatever. It's just them truly being kind. Black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. Hey, baby, how you doing, darling? Okay, honey. Okay, sugar. It's like, wow. You just got to love these people. So super friendly people. I love our history and architecture. I mean, the French Quarter is a gem. Even with the trash and the loud noise and the smell of weed and the gutter on Bourbon Street and all that, still a European masterpiece. So the history, the architecture, the people, the food, incredible food, the music. Just, it's tough to beat. It really is tough to beat. Buddies that live on the Florida Panhandle doing very, very, very well. Not real well, like doing as well as anyone can do in America, like kicking butt and taking aim. One of my buddies worth tens of millions of dollars. His friend is now worth a few $1 million, working for the one worth tens of millions of dollars. I've been invited to go down there and I've been assist with those guys. Could be making a lot more money. But I told those guys, I said, guys, I'm one of the richest people you know. And they looked at me like, what? Because they got an idea of what I make. I'm in radio and television in New Orleans. I do just fine. I do probably better than, I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you like it is. I've been at it 30 years. I do better than probably 95% of people in television and radio in New Orleans, financially. Probably better than 95%. 19 out of 20 that are in this business. So I'm fortunate, but it's not the kind of money they're talking about. But I've told them, guys, I like history and architecture. I like culture and food and music. There's none of that here. There's none of, there's no culture. There's very few good restaurants. There's no music. There's no history or architecture. No, there's no culture. I like it. I go down there and visit. I like going to the beach. I like the Florida Panhandle. Against it. I like it a lot. I have friends that are fortunate, have houses down there, condos down there. I'll go rent a place. My brother and I will go with friends. We go play golf, have a good time. And we're going to Fleming's and P.F. Chang's to eat. And now I hear Emerald's down there now working at his restaurant. So probably hit something like that if I were to go down there. But I'm just saying, in the middle of March on a Tuesday afternoon at 2 in the afternoon, I'd be like, what the hell am I doing down here? No, I'm rich because of the people and the acquaintance, the friends I have, a lot of family, a lot of friends, like close friends, tight friends, dozens and dozens, and then acquaintances, it hundreds, might be north of 1,000 in New Orleans, literally. Walk into a place, hey, Corey, how you doing? And not because I'm on TV and radio, just because we have a relationship. I'm not like a people person. Corey's just such a great people person. He's social, but I'm not a hermit either. And I'm naturally inquisitive. I'm asking people, what are they doing? And then I don't know why I'm remembering it. Man, how's your grandmother doing? She's all right? Like, wow, man, you remember that? I'm like, of course. That's what you told me 6 months ago when I saw you. And then people are the same way with me. How's your mom doing? How's your brother? Whatever. How's your sister? And New Orleans is like a big town. It's like a big town. It's like everybody knows everybody. And everybody's so friendly and nice. And with weather like this, it's hard to leave. It's hard, even with the dysfunction of New Orleans, and it's huge. It's tremendous dysfunction. I was talking about last hour, 40-year economic slide, 40 years. The South, the fastest growing region in the country the last 40 years. It's hard to find a spot in the South that isn't doing well. New Orleans. Hard to find a state that's not doing well. Louisiana. No, 40 years of dysfunction. We still, are worried about Mardi Gras, 3-for-1 at the bar, Saturday night at Tiger Stadium, hunting and fishing season. As long as those things are a go, the economy, our kids getting educated, it doesn't really matter, I've often said the LSU thing, you're in law school first day. They go, look to your left, look to your right. In a year, someone won't be there. One of those people won't be there. In New Orleans and Louisiana, I say, look to your left, look to your right. One of those people is painfully dysfunctional, almost like a loser, like second rate, settles. If Edwin Edwards was governor, it's like, what? I'm going to hit you in the head with a shovel. Did you really say that? If Mark Morial was mayor, I'm like, really? Wow, really? Time to get clocked in the head with a shovel. Just insane. Just sort of this second-rate loser mentality that permeates New Louisiana. Major dysfunction, and we keep drinking water. It's just rinse and repeat. Hey, I wish John Hilario would run for something again. The guy with the blank resume that hadn't done anything. No, with even all of that, just the deviant criminal politicians or politicians that have ego or are in it for themselves, setting up friends and family, or they want to be leader and they're incapable of leading. We have major problems, major dysfunction, folks with whacked agendas, and it's still just a cultural mecca. Wherever you go, my God, Baton Rouge, a lot of great restaurants, lots of good music, lots of friendly people. Lafayette is as cultural as anywhere in America. The Cajun culture is special. Not just because I'm 25% Cajun and that blood's running through me. It's just a fact. Cajun French. I hope they keep teaching that in school so the young kids can, learn it, and they keep passing it on generation after generation. It's special. No, Louisiana and New Orleans is a unique, great place. And you throw in the weather we're having for like the next 10 days, just makes it that much better. Makes it that much better. No, and it's hard to talk about weather when Florida's about to get hit again. That Tampa-St. Pete area, by Wednesday around lunchtime, 1 o'clock, it's expected to be a Cat 3 storm, 12-foot storm surge, 110 miles an hour winds. Yesterday afternoon, Milton was a tropical storm, like just getting named. And now it's a Cat 5 hurricane with winds of 175, 180 mile an hour max winds right now. It's a monster. Thank goodness as it approaches the Tampa-St. Pete area, it will lessen in intensity and hopefully speeds across the state into the Atlantic. And hopefully the storm surge isn't as big as it's supposed to be. No, keep those people in your thoughts and prayers. We got a lot to cover. A protest in front of Tulane University. The city's going to spend $2 million to find out how they can bring a grocery to the Ninth Ward. I don't know, for $2 million, you could build and operate a grocery in the Ninth Ward. Corey Johnson with you on a Monday afternoon. Boy, tonight, you want to check out the Saints on Monday Night Football? You want to do it with a lot of fans? Games at Kansas City. Tracy's. Legendary Tracy's is the spot. Problem solved. Where am I going for tonight's Saints game? Tracy's. New location, bigger and better than ever. They're on Magazine at Pleasant, kind of catty corner from that Bromart, in between Washington and Louisiana. Plus, you can enjoy a great sloppy roast beef po' boy and a lot of other great stuff from their full kitchen. Tonight's Saints game, make it Tracy's. Magazine at Pleasant. You can't go wrong. The all-new Tracy's.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
And now Mandeville. A day of relaxation. Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Yen Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique.
The metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father, Causeway. Smoothie King.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 4-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. Your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right. Monday afternoon, Corey Johnson back at. Yeah, I opened up the 4 o'clock app and kind of bummed out. And I posted this on social media. I was hyping it. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, Governor Jeff Landry's going to join us. I posted the email on Twitter just so folks wouldn't believe I'm making crap up.
Francesca and Pizzeria.
I think Francesca, Corporal, but, we got to do a... We'll talk about Francesca in a minute. No, I get an email from the governor's office. The governor has a tax meeting tomorrow. Can't join you. Like, my God. And now I just looked at the email. 17 emails back and forth with the media person with the governor. Since August 8th, when I bumped into the governor like August 5th at the Chop House on Magazine downtown, that steakhouse. I was with my brother, some friends. Governor Jeff Landry was there. I was going to the restroom. He's going to the restroom. We met in the hall. Governor Corey Johnson. He seemed to know who I was. Right away, I was like, Governor, literally, I'm telling you the conversation verbatim. I bust your chops on my show a lot, but I'd still like to have you on the program. Will you do it? Sound like fun. Let's do it. Line it up with Kate. So that's what I did. And Kate's been nice. We've been going back and forth, 17 different emails over 9 weeks now. 9 weeks. It's tiring. But I'm not giving up. I'm relentless. I'm getting the governor on this show. And I will keep going until I get the governor on this show. But I didn't want people thinking,
Corey's talking crap. He says he's got the governor on. He really doesn't. He's just going to come on the day before and say it was canceled. It was verified last Thursday being via email, and then I got an email this morning, and when I saw it, I thought it was going to be like, Corey, don't forget the governor today, or looking forward to joining. And it was, sorry, got to cancel. He has a tax meeting tomorrow afternoon. We have to reschedule. And right now I'm in limbo, like, Kate's like, do you want to still do it? I'm like, yes, let's do it this week. Can we do it this week? She's like, I'll try to figure it out and let you know. So I'm waiting, and hopefully it'll be later this week. But I literally took a little snapshot of the email I got saying we have to cancel, and I posted it on Twitter because my rep and integrity is on the line. Plus the governor, this is what sucked anyway. The governor was going to come on my show tomorrow afternoon. It's on like a couple of other local radio shows this week, So I know he's doing it to push his tax, package. They're going in a session next month about, and that's fine. But I kind of wanted something a little bit more exclusive. I've been trying for 8 or 9 weeks. The governor said, yes, I promise we'll do it. So I'm holding him at his word. And like I said, I'm relentless. When there's something that I want, that I think is not over the top, that's realistic, that I'm not being, needy or unrealistic or foolish or naive, I'm going to go for it. I mean, what did Skip Bertman say? Anything that you can visualize, that you can happen, that you put every effort into happening, it's going to happen. So I will get Governor Jeff Landry on this radio TV program. That is my commitment to you and me. And no, I get why the governor goes on a lot of the conservative outlets, because they kiss his rear end. It's like, hey, buddy, hey, pal. And I said before, LaToya Cantrell, the sheriff in New Orleans, they go on WBOK because they're going to be appeased. They're going to be placated. They're going to be no real questions like the governor on these conservative outlets. There's never any tough questions. The host may fake it and act like he's going to ask one that's a little controversial or tough, and then let the governor off the hook, and it's right back into, what's your favorite color? Do you like vanilla ice cream or chocolate? Just, a joke, softball pitch. Now, you folks that don't like Jeff Landry, you think I'm going to get the governor, I'm out to get him, I'm going to go, attack him. You're wrong. Don't mean to bum you out. You don't like him. That's great. I'm not out to attack the guy. I'm not out to lube up my head and insert it. Conservative outlets do with the governor. Just like WBO joke. They had Vappy on one time. Vappy's rear end. Pathetic. It's just got to suck having no integrity, selling out, and feeling like you have to do that. I mean, I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, I've got to do a journalistically sound interview, something that's righteous, something that has integrity, something that I can put my head down at night and know I did a good job. And most importantly, asking the questions you would ask, trying to get the answers that you want to know. It's simple. People that sell out, I don't know, I've been doing this 30 plus years, never have sold out. Never will. It's too easy to do it the right way. Why would I go out of my way to placate and appease somebody? And again, I'm not out to get them, and I'm not out to test their rear end. Just out to do the righteous job, the journalistically sound job. That's it. So, no, I'm bummed. Tomorrow afternoon, we're supposed to have the governor on a little after 4, and it's not happening tomorrow afternoon. And I think the tax meeting's legitimate. I don't think he's like, man, that Corey's going to have tough. And there's going to be some questions I like. I like Troop NOLA, and I want to know what the tax thing's about. Let him explain it. I'm not against that. Being more like Texas and Florida. We're not going to have zero income. We're not putting it all on homeowners. And last week with Michael Eck, the homestead exemption homeowner, I have a mortgage. I take advantage of the homestead exemption. It's a joke, though. It's ridiculous. Some politician 50 years ago got elected this stupidity. Homestead exemption. I mean, how many other states have a homestead exemption? Hey, you can write off the first $75,000. Your house worth $500,000, you only get taxed on $4.25. Your house is worth $200,000, you only get taxed on $1.25. Subtract $75,000. Your house is worth $250,000, you only paying taxes on $175,000. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. You can afford a house and a mortgage. You can afford a little taxes. Getting a $75,000 tax break on the overall value of the house is just dopey, stupid, and some politician got elected 50 years ago, and now most people that own a home don't want to give up that. I'd give it up in a second. Create more taxes, like on a huge scale, and educate our children and clean up the state and get an economy going. I mean, you pay for what you get what you pay for. And homestead exemption. It's so why don't we have a bunch of other exemptions? It's just dopey. Like I said, got some politician elected. So now, taxed on your house, that's where they get the revenue from. Homeowners. It's kind of a smart play. But yeah, it's not happening here. Keep your shirt on, ladies and guys. It's not happening here. It's going to be based off of sales tax. But anyway, I want to hear the governor's plan. I want to get the governor on. So there's a lot of things. I like NOLA, the troop end. I like crime going down. I like the first thing the governor said. New Orleans should be like Nashville and Austin, a gem. You know? A lot of people in New Orleans, these loony leftists, they just take it as some political threat, loss of power. They'd rather keep their power and keep New Orleans dysfunctional and keep the people down than have New Orleans go into its righteous place. I mean, here's an example. The city council, the New Orleans redevelopment district, going to spend $2 million of taxpayer money on a study on how you can a grocery store to the Ninth Ward, the lower Ninth Ward. For $2 million, you could open a grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward and operate it. It's embarrassing. You raise the tide, all ships go up, you know? A rising tide lifts all boats. Get an economy going in the Ninth Ward, and a grocery store in the lower Ninth Ward would take care of itself. No, in the big catch-22, want to preserve culture in the neighborhood, yet want it to be more affluent. It doesn't work that way. And then all these folks against gentrification of like Claiborne, St. Claude, Broad Street. I don't know what drugs or alcohol you're taking. It's insane. You want people outside money to invest in those areas. Just crazy, illogical thinking. I don't get it. I really don't. It's just like a loser mentality. Hey, New Orleans. Hey, Baton Rouge. Helm Paint and Decorating. Yeah, now in the capital city. 7 locations in Metro New Orleans. 4 in Metro Baton Rouge. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, when you got to paint Metro Baton Rouge, you do it once. You do it right. Helm Paint and Decorating. Free 2-hour delivery in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. High quality Benjamin Moore paint. Yeah, Helm Paint and Decorating in New Orleans for 55 years now in Baton Rouge. Yeah, you right. Monday afternoon edition of the program. A lot coming. A protest in front of Tulane University earlier. I'm assuming it's over. It was a little bit after lunchtime. No, it's a year. 1 year later, October 7th, 2023, the attack on Israel by Hamas. Just brutal. Brutal. No, the protesters were, I guess, on that lawn in front of Tulane, and then they're like, "Wow, we're protesting First Amendment, right to protest, free speech." But we're not getting enough traction or enough attention. Let's move it out onto St. Charles Avenue and block traffic. Let's break the law. Let's ignore how precious the First Amendment is, the right to protest. No, folks get this mentality of like, our message is so important, so righteous, that we can block a street to get the message across. And I've said this so many times, this example. I'd love to do my show on I-10, right in the middle lane, block traffic for miles. Get arrested. It would just boost my show. But it's against the law. It's selfish. And it's sort of stomping on the First Amendment, the right to protest. That's the beauty of America. Everyone should be for David Dork and his Nazi clowns being able to have a protest. Most of us should be idealistically opposed to what their message is because they're a bunch of idiots, 110% against their message. But as citizens, even though they're dumbasses, they have a right to protest their Nazi agenda, racist agenda, whatever David Dork's up to. He has a right to protest legally. Can't go block a street, can't go attack police, none of that. So it's real simple. First Amendment is precious. We're blessed in America to have it. I'm a talk radio TV host. I know it as well as anybody. Get on here every day and spout off my opinions on stuff. So the right to protest is precious, but folks that feel their message is so important. I mean, David Dork and the Nazis go block a street, you'd be pissed off. You not only disagree with their message, they're going to slow down traffic, inconvenience folks, break the law. No, it'd make a lot of folks livid. But some folks think, oh, well, that's David Dork, and his message is obviously evil. My message is righteous and good, and I should be able to block the street. No, you shouldn't be able to block the street. I'm hoping, I doubt it happened, I'm hoping that a bunch of those protesters were arrested. I'm hoping by the busload, those that decided to go sit down on St. Charles Avenue, where police literally had to block St. Charles Avenue at State Street and St. Charles, and then on the other side of Tulane University at Broadway in St. Charles. Inconveniencing folks. But the protesters like, yeah, we're making traction now. The news may show up because we blocked the road. People noticing we're blocking the road. They're paying attention to our protest instead of ignoring us. No, I hope and pray that buses from law enforcement went down there and arrested everybody that decided to sit in the street during that protest. That's what I'm hoping, because they're breaking the law and they deserve to go to jail. They're abusing, they're spitting on, they're stepping on the First Amendment, and it's precious. Can't abuse that. Can't just break the law. So a protest in front of Tulane, a couple of streets blocked, St. Charles at State, St. Charles at Broadway, bunch of idiots going into the street, breaking the law. No, getting them off the street and reopening the streets, not enough. The individuals need to be arrested. And these college students that are young and naive, they need to be taught a lesson. Wow, after you graduate and you go apply for that job and the application says, have you ever been arrested? You have to say, yeah. Why? Because I protested illegally. And that employer may be like, oh, great, I love that idea. Or they might be like, oh, I don't want that kind of wild card. I'll go get someone else with the same GPA, same qualifications, same type of drive and personality as you, without the baggage of deciding to take your protest, abuse the First Amendment, and go block a street and break the law. Hurricane Milton, my God, now at a Category 5. From tropical storm yesterday afternoon, like this time yesterday, 24 hours ago, a tropical storm. Then overnight goes to a Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5. Maximum winds right now 180 miles an hour, and it's beelining towards Tampa, St. Pete. That poor area just got crushed a month ago. They're about to get hit again. 12-foot storm surge. It's supposed to die down as it approaches land. Probably a Cat 3, winds of 110 miles an hour. That's going to cause a lot of damage to Tampa, St. Pete. Keep those people in your thoughts and prayers. Just not right. It's not right. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, it is a Martell Monday. Saints in Kansas City. The Tampa Bay Bucks come to the Dome this Sunday. They're coming to New Orleans tomorrow, not like Friday or Saturday. Coming tomorrow. They will practice all week in preparation for the Saints game in New Orleans because of this Hurricane Milton that's beelining towards Tampa. So they're getting out before the storm hits tomorrow around lunch and coming to New Orleans. And they're going to stay and practice here all week. They might beat the Saints back from Kansas City. Who knows? Saints Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. Brett Martell will join us next to talk about that. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. I talk about them all the time because all this company does is grow. 1,400 plus employees in Elmwood. Their campus now encompasses about 100 acres in Elmwood. They're on the North Shore off of I-12. You folks on the North Shore, you don't have to come across the causeway every day. They got a job for you right off I-12 on the North Shore at Latrim. East Bankers, West Bankers, Elmwood's the spot for you. For a full listing of positions available, go to Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I. T-R-A-M, Latrim.com.
Home Flood Business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto Home Flood Business, 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades on Jefferson Highway across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 airy locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
You know, I've never purchased any other mayonnaise than Blue Plate. Literally. I'm a native New Orleanian. I can't even imagine buying any other mayonnaise than Blue Plate mayonnaise. They've been at it since 1927, 95, 96 years. Spread the love, a New Orleans family tradition. Blue Plate mayonnaise. No, if you're a New Orleanian, it's got to be Blue Plate. New Orleans mayonnaise. Yeah, never has a jar of anything but Blue Plate ever been in my house, in the pantry, in the refrigerator, on the counter. Never, ever, never. Wouldn't even think of buying another mayonnaise. It is a Monday afternoon, a Martell Monday. Brett Martell from the Associated Press joins us on the program. What up, Brett?
Hey, Corey, where you at?
I'm in between the A and the T. I never understood that, where you at in between the A and the T. I never got that, really. But I just said it.
But I'm not from here.
I'm at the Cox Television Studios. I'm at the Buddy Deliberto Total Maintenance Studio. Brett, where are you at? Brett's breaking up. Did you say Rick's Cabaret, Brett?
Oh, no, I don't. I go to Vision.
I'm sorry. Okay. Vision's on Downman Road. I got you. I know. I should know that. I remember I was in the VIP room and I saw you come walking in. What am I thinking?
Actually, I've never been there, but I hear the commercials.
Yeah, I've never been to Visions either. I can honestly say I've never been to Visions on Downman Road. And I think the last time I was ever in a strip joint, it was like some guy's like bachelor party about 25 years ago. I just said, look, I'm going to be on radio and television in New Orleans. I don't need people calling in. You know, Corey saw you in the strip joint, but even more than that, look, I love the ladies, but I'm not into strip joints. I had some sick friend, Brett, who pretty affluent, had some money, come into work all bummed out. Like, dude, I spent $1,000 last night at Rick's. I'm like, you're an idiot, you know? But anyway,
I think where you're at is meant to mean where are you in terms of your well-being? Where's your well-being at?
Yeah. It's kind of like you right. It doesn't mean, yes, you are correct. It just means, that kind of thing. All right, Brett. Yeah. Saints at Chiefs, Monday Night Football. There's only one Monday night game tonight, not the two, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, that two Monday night games, one on ABC, one on ESPN, is just ridiculous. It's like you wonder why there aren't enough Sunday games because the NFL is playing a Sunday night game, two on Monday, Thursday, sometimes Friday before, like, I forget what the law is. They could do it up until like September 15th or September 20th. It gets a little ridiculous. Anyway, I'm not a gambler, Brett. I know you're not either. But I found it interesting that the spread, 4-0 Kansas City, 2-2 Saints. I would think Kansas City by more than a touchdown, 8-9 points. They're favored by 5. Now, Arrowhead's like the Superdome. Any home stadium, you get 3 by the Vegas boys. One could argue you get 4 at like Green Bay or Kansas City or the Superdome. So 4 points for being at home. Essentially, they're saying like on a neutral field, Kansas City's favored by 1. Essentially, what they're saying is at the Superdome, the Saints would be favored by maybe 2 points. My point is the sucker bet for gamblers would be Kansas City, and the intelligent bet, if there is such a thing, would be betting on the Saints because that spread is deceivingly low. It tells me the Vegas boys, where money is concerned, they like the Saints in Kansas City to play a very, very tight ball game tonight at Arrowhead.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the opening line or the first line I saw was 5.5, and it must have moved. But 5, and again, it was KC by 5.5 is the first line I saw. But anyway, look, so there's some of the prevailing wisdom is that if you have two very competitive teams and one team lost the week before and the other team won the week before, the better bet is just by virtue of human nature, the better bet is on the team that lost the week before. If they're both competitive, fairly even matched teams, because human nature is, especially when you're dealing with a very, very lucrative career in a league that has a lot of parity, right? And a lot of these games are just won on the margin. Human nature is, we've got to get locked in. We've got to dial in. We've got to fix what went wrong coming off the loss. Whereas if you've won a couple of games in a row, or at least won the week before, there may be more of a tendency to get comfortable, let your guard down. And when you expect a tight game, that's what can happen now. Arrowhead is a tough place to win, but if you look at how the teams have done all year, right? The Saints blew out 2 teams, and then, it's not like they got blown out twice and barely won twice. They blew out 2 teams and barely lost twice. And one of the teams they lost to, Atlanta, narrowly lost to KC and then turned around and beat Tampa Bay. So, and of course the Eagles are a tough team. And so I think they're right to expect a very close game. I would expect the Saints to cover. but not necessarily to win. I mean, just because it seems like every time a team has Kansas City on the ropes in Arrowhead Stadium, it comes down to some Butker field goal at the end, and he nails it and they win. So, or some last second, Mahomes magic. So anyway, that's kind of where I would stand in tonight's game. But I would expect it to be a competitive game. And despite their injuries, the Saints have been pretty good in all 4 games, not that far off from being 4-0.
Now, I like your thinking on, covering the spread, but maybe not winning. I mean, everybody wants them to win, but the last 2 weeks, they could have had victories and they didn't figure out how to close out the games and win. So that could, happen up in Arrowhead. The Saints are beat up, but so is Kansas City. What, top 2 running backs are out, starting wide receiver out. So, the Tom Brady of today's era, Pat Mahomes, who a couple more seasons, 2 or 3 more seasons, might be considered better than Brady if he just keeps doing what he's doing. He's going to have to carry the load.
Well, Mahomes is certainly a more dynamic player than Brady, just in terms of his scrambling ability and the way he improvises.
Yep.
It's not really clear if he necessarily has like the processing, pre-snap read ability that Brady had. The calculated ability. They're both tremendous leaders in their own way. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to compare them, but, Mahomes definitely has the potential to surpass Brady in a lot of ways in terms of a lot of statistics and in terms of winning, because he's still pretty young. So
he could retire right now, Brett, and 5 years later, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, he's been tremendous.
Yep.
But not infallible. And you're right. But injuries really can't be too much of an excuse in this game because both teams are pretty beat up. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Mahomes to make things happen without a lot of his top guys to throw to.
Yep. Should be a good one tonight. Monday Night Football, the Saints at Arrowhead taking on Kansas City. But with this Hurricane Milton heading towards Tampa, the Bucs are expected to leave Tampa tomorrow early, coming to New Orleans and check into a hotel and practice all week in the Crescent City in preparation for Sunday's game against the Saints in the Dome.
Yep. Kind of an interesting situation. And obviously nobody, much as, maybe Saints fans don't like NFC South rivals under normal circumstances, I would expect people to have a lot of empathy for them this week.
Yep.
Because nobody knows what that's like better than we do in New Orleans. The Saints obviously have had to leave early for past storms. And of course, for Katrina, they left 2 days before and didn't come back basically for an entire season. So you can only hope that Tampa Bay doesn't wind up in that situation, but they could very well, as big as the storm is, be away from Tampa Bay, not just this week, but next week and maybe a couple weeks after, like the Saints were they were gone for Ida for a month, right? So, it's a tough situation, but it gets us back to, the humanity and the transcendent aspects of, these guys are elite professional football players, but also, human beings from a community that might be suffering quite a bit after the next few days.
Brett Martell's with us, another Martell Monday. Hey, Leidenheimer French Bread's been with you since 1896. Into their 3rd century, almost 130 years, baking that French bread in the city of New Orleans like they always have. They now send it out to 30 states around the country. Leidenheimer French bread, all of it's baked here in New Orleans. The 30 states that get it, it was baked in New Orleans. They don't sub it out to some bakery in another state. Leidenheimer French bread, the French bread you love at fine dining restaurants, the French bread you love on that authentic New Orleans po' boy. Yeah, it's got to be Leidenheimer. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread, Leidenheimer Baking Company. Hey, Brett, the LSU Tigers moving up to number 10 in the latest poll. They're 4-1. It's a top 10 matchup. Number 8 Ole Miss. The Rebels are 5-1. Saturday night, 6:30 at Tiger Stadium. I'm a little skeptical because of the holes in the LSU defense if they're truly a top 10 team. Do you think they are?
Well, I have to relook, but the last time I looked at Which poll are you looking at?
The USA Today coaches poll, not your Associated Press poll, Brett.
Okay. Yeah. The only poll I'm aware of is the Associated Press poll.
I remember someone from the AP said about the poll, said, we don't make the news, we report on the news. But anyway.
Yeah. So the AP poll is, well, actually, we administer that poll, but we don't vote on it. So we pick the voters.
Yep.
And,
yep. That's a good point.
Publish. So we have Ole Miss at number 9 and LSU at 13.
That seems more realistic, to be honest with you. I think I look at LSU around 15th, something like in the teens. Top 10 seems a little strong, but then you got to compare it to other teams. But the defense, the offense, top 10. The defense, not. I don't know if they're top 30 or 40.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the defense, they've been struggling, very inconsistent. Obviously, they're probably most dynamic player, Harold Perkins Jr., out for the year.
Yep.
You know, it didn't hurt them that much in the last game, but who did they play in the last game? South Alabama. So, you know, I mean, we'll see what happens. But look, the one time that LSU beat Ole Miss in the last 2 years was when Harold Perkins came in as a freshman and had an unbelievable game and really caused some disruption in the second half and gave LSU the chance to come back in Tiger Stadium. So, you know, we're going to have to see what happens here this week. But it's going to be a really tough game. And now if LSU wins that game, that gives them a little bit of a margin for error. They could win every other game except maybe Alabama and have a real chance to sneak in to the, 12-team playoff. But they need to beat either Ole Miss or Alabama. Maybe they can beat both. Looking at how vulnerable Alabama.
Yeah, but then A&M's still out there, and A&M's a surprise team in the SEC right now. Right. Alabama gets beat by Vandy last week. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I never realistically expected to ever see that.
You know? I don't think it's happened, in 40 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like 52 years old, and I can count on one hand the number of times that's happened in my life. So, I mean, it was kind of cool to see. I wasn't, even planning on tuning into that game until it was 13-7 Vanderbilt in the second quarter, and I thought, well, let's just take a look and see how long this lasts.
Yeah.
The whole game. So.
Yeah. No, they never really lost the lead. I think you could count it on one thumb and maybe a finger in your life.
Yeah. It was really compelling football. And I was right after I listened to Tulane on the radio for like 70-something points.
71 points. So, shocking. I'm listening on the radio too. It was 7-0. Then UAB drives the field and it's 7-3. They kick a field goal. Then it was either the pick six or it was a kickoff return for a score. All of a sudden it's 21-3. I'm like, holy smokes, this game's over with. 71-20. Hey, speaking of Tulane. Yep. Speaking of Tulane, if Oklahoma has a great season and K-State keeps doing what they're doing and Tulane runs the table and they're going to be favored in every game, will they make the playoffs with 2 losses?
It really depends, I think, on what Boise State does, because if Boise State keeps winning, everyone's going to want to see that running back, that's just going already at 1,000 yards and how many touchdowns. His last name is something like Ginty, I think, or Gianti. That Boise State running back is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and they're one of those, non-power conference teams that is really strong right now. And last I looked, they were in the rankings. So, Tulane's going to need them to drop a game or two, I think, to get in.
And K-State and Oklahoma keep winning. Brett, there was a matinee at the Smoothie King Center, a preseason game for the Pels, and a pretty decent crowd from what I understand. I figured there'd be a few hundred people there. There's a much larger crowd than that. 12:30 tip-off. The Pels, I think, beat the Magic by 2. No Brandon Ingram, though.
Yeah, well, it was a weird time for a preseason game, Monday at 12:30, but I think it makes sense in New Orleans on this particular Monday because the Saints are playing at night.
Yeah, better than tonight. You'd have 12 people at the game.
There's a lot of schools in that are having long weekends for fall break, in South Louisiana now. And so it might be a way to get families and kids in there, for an afternoon game.
Yep.
And so that's probably why they did that. It's preseason basketball doesn't really mean much because the starters don't play that much. And it's really about coaches, I think, trying to see who in game situations can round out the rotation.
I mean, I think you're right about that. I mean, the starters are playing teen minutes, 15, 18 minutes. No Brandon Ingram, and that's not to rest Brandon Ingram. He doesn't have any injuries. It's the contract dispute, I guess. The Pels still thinking of trading. I don't know what's going on with the Pels and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, it's not clear yet. But look, there's he doesn't have a contract yet, and there's just no reason to play him in the preseason. In the event, you want to keep him as healthy as possible in the event that teams, as they go through camp and as they go through preseason and start to get a feel for what they have and what they need, a better feel for that, maybe you'll get a better offer than you previously received for a guy like Brandon Ingram that everybody knows can average over 20 points a game.
Yep.
In the right system and be a difference maker.
No, that's a good point. Other teams' rosters shaking out, seeing who they got, what they need. No, that's a good point. Hey, Brett, how can folks check out your stuff via the AP?
Either apnews.com on a regular computer or the AP News app on the smartphone. It's free, and it gives you news from around the world, including important news from Ukraine, the Middle East, and all the political news, and plenty of fact checks, which have never been more important than they are right now.
Yep.
So with all the misinformation going around, so that's the best way to find my stories and a lot of other important news.
Brett, always a pleasure, man. See you next Monday.
All right, take care, Corey.
That's Brett Martell from the Associated Press, another Martell Monday. Corey Johnson with you. Every day we broadcast live on radio and television on YouTube from the Buddy Diliberto Total Maintenance Studios. What's that, Blue Boy? Fantastic weather, but you're still running air conditioning. You're right, buddy. No doubt about it. Total Maintenance, honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. Find them in New Orleans and Baton Rouge. tm-ac.com. It's easy.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.